100 questions about writing in 5 minutes or less. Let's go. Question 17. How does your faith inform your writing? The short answer is, it doesn't, and nor should it. My own faith is private. I don't discuss it. It's never mentioned in interviews because it shouldn't be affecting how people look at me or the stories. Now, within my stories, I do explore the subject of faith in many different ways and in many different formats. I'm not talking about the church and, railing against it, or also saying it's the best thing ever. Neither am I talking about Islam or Hinduism or being anything else. It's irrelevant. My faith should not shape the story. If I'm trying to be honest as a storyteller, and there's a character who is, a zealot and they're very much in favour of faith and they believe other people should be converted, that isn't me using it as a mouthpiece to talk about my own faith and to say that other people should listen to me, that my faith is the only one and therefore you should listen to that. That's not true. Likewise, if there are characters who are very much against organised religion, I'm not doing that either. I like to explore the idea of how faith is important to different people, how it can empower some people, can help them get through the most difficult times versus other people who don't feel the need for that. And through the lens of characters, I am discussing faith and belief and organised religion versus non-organised religion, older religions that we have today that still exist from thousands of years ago. Traditions that we follow as part of everyday life that, if you trace their roots back, go all the way back to kind of old faiths, like Halloween. Everyone knows what Halloween is, people celebrate it. That goes back to an old kind of faith. It has nothing to do with, putting up decorations and sweets and trick-or-treating. These are all just modern things that have come along after the fact. The thing that really bothers me is when an individual uses their faith as a shield to change the story. If you're writing a fantasy story or, a story in contemporary times in a modern world, and you have, criminals, let's say, or it works within fantasy too, and these are people who are on the fringes of society. They're not nice people, they do terrible things, they hurt people, commit crimes, sell drugs, whatever it might be. If those people aren't rough talking, if they don't swear, fight, they're, violent, and you basically kind of whitewash all of those things and just make them very politely well-spoken people who never swear because swearing is against your own faith, then that's being dishonest as a storyteller. You shouldn't be able to see me in the characters through the lens of my faith. I shouldn't be there talking about things to kind of say, right, yeah, I think this is how people should live, and therefore if I don't put swearing in my books or I don't put violence, then it'll set a good example, because then it's not the characters being honest and the story isn't honest. I just find that really distasteful and unpleasant. There are some amazing world myths that come from religions around the world that people use as jumping off points to tell fantastical stories full of amazing creatures and monsters and all those kind of things. Those are fantastic stories and I love them because they're exploring great ideas and they're completely full of creativity. They're not banging the drum of a particular religion. So my own personal faith does not inform my writing at all. I never try to force it on other people, I never talk about it, and therefore I also don't allow it to restrict the story from being honest, and I don't think you should in any of your writing.